have an interesting question for you. Do you think that society is better or worse off now that we're essentially more woke? Because I don't know. Like when I think about people like Gwen Stefani, I know going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it will relate, trust me. People like Gwen Stefani would probably be accused of cultural appropriation, but I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it. But, anyways, today we are talking about the seven deadly sins of branding, including our boy, Dami Hope. I'm actually a personal fan. Like, I find him pretty interesting. When I am active on Snap, I like to follow his stories on there. I feel like he's really personable. And yeah, obviously, like most of you, I came across him from Love Island. I believe he was on one of the best, series or years for Love Island. I'm trying to get the year up right now. So we met Dami Hope in, I believe, 2018 or 2019. Oh, yeah. Let me get the year up. Oh, my bad. Not me adding to his age. We met Demi Hope in 2022. That doesn't even feel that long ago. Wow. But honestly, shout out to him for being such an interesting character and just naturally charismatic. And of course, he had, and he's still in a relationship with India Love. And, they had their heartbreaker moment or whatever. But I don't know. Like, is it just me? Genuinely, I actually think he's quite a good guy. Am I delusional? Am I delulu? But from following him online, I feel like he presents as just pretty chill and calm natured, even killed, I would say. And now bringing it back to what I was talking about in the beginning with the whole woke thing. So if you follow him on Snap or maybe on Instagram as well, you would know that he really likes anime. And I'm going to say something that might might not be PC, might not be woke, might not be correct. First of all, let me preface this by saying I love anime. I've loved anime forever. Okay? And obviously, as someone who loves anime, I understand that there are some themes that come up in anime that don't necessarily translate well. And one thing, well, when it comes to like other cultures, I feel like one thing I don't like within the anime world is like, the hard headedness, like this is the best, and like what we do in anime, like everything should be like anime, and just kind of like being diehard to the point where you almost negate other people's opinions about anime. And we see this come into play with Dami Hope when it comes to his branding, because he decides to launch a fashion brand, and I think it's kind of been long awaited. We love his style, we love his swag, we love his charisma. And so he launches it, but he bases it off of an anime character, unbeknownst to the general public. So it's called Snow Bunny, of course. And in most cultures, especially within the London culture and also within the African American culture, a snow bunny is, of course, known as a black man who prefers to be with white women. And he is not exempt from knowing this, but he has been, or he was, no, I still say is adamant that, I like anime. This is my way or the highway. And I feel like that is such an anime boy thing to do. So, of course, like I said, he launched a brand and there was a lot of controversy surrounding the name as to why he would do that, knowing, the troublesome connotations that come with such a name as this. And yeah, like I said, he doubled down. He hasn't changed the name. He said, this is what I want to name it. This is where my idea originated from. People will get over it. Essentially, he also said, controversy sells. And then this is where I felt like, well, is it a thing of you wanted a controversy, which I feel like he kind of did because you know what it means. And then you're also backtracking and saying, well, I didn't know what it means. I just knew what it meant from my perspective. And he did state in a video he would later produce, which was published on his page. And I also saw it on the Shade Borough saying like, hey, this is not what you think. It's way cooler than that. Snow Bunny actually comes from an anime called ReZero, I believe. And the Snow Bunnies are like the kingpins of the society. And yeah, going into a whole spiel about how bunnies mean this in Japanese culture. We're not in Japan. You are not from Japan. You can like anime, but you're not from there. You live in London. The majority of your fan base is not from Japan. They are from London. They are from where else? Other parts of the UK who watch Love Island. They are from America. The majority of your fan base is not from Japan. I'm sorry to break it to you. And so being so adamant that everybody must understand originally where your idea comes from, but then at the same time saying, oh, well, I know it was going to be controversial and, well, people still buy, I feel like that can have a negative backlash. And so I'm going to go into a bit of a separate case study, um, just to hone in on the point. So we have Miss Kim K, of course, queen of the controversy. And I feel like there's a stark difference between certain celebrities or media personalities who can ride the coattails of controversy better than others. And I would say Kim K, yeah, queen of controversy, okay? She launched her career off the back of controversy. And whether or not we like it, it's a feat that not many can do. But I feel like she's also created, yeah, she's created a brand, like a personal brand per se, of being, risque, on the edge. And whilst Dami Hope's fashion is very much, on the edge, in terms of having a very alternative style, which he eats, by the way, I still wouldn't say that his personality is one of controversy and drama. As I said in the beginning, I actually think he's quite, he's a nice guy. He's a very chill guy. When the chill guy meme came online, yeah, I feel like that fits Danny Hope to a T. And obviously, everybody can have their moments of, either liking drama or partaking of drama, but in general, the persona he gives online is that he's very chill, He just watches animes, he puts together his fits, he's with his girl, he chills with his boys and his friends, completely different persona to what we have with a Kim K. But even she couldn't escape, the controversy of having a name that has not negative connotations, but already has other connotations. And it's like, you're not now going to come and just jump on this and essentially steal it. And this also goes back to my original point of the whole woke society we live in. Maybe back in the day, someone like Kim Kardashian couldn't get away with it because of her celebrity stature, but a kimono is a traditional dress. And so when she wanted to launch her brand under the name kimono, just the actual sheer audacity. But anyways, Japan was not having it. And so this was officially changed to what we now know, and if you are a fan, love, is Skims. And the reason why I've titled this page Opportunity Cost is, at the end of the day, when you choose to dabble and play with fire, and when you choose to dabble and play with wrath, there is an opportunity cost. Let's say someone like Kim had doubled down and said, no, I don't care what, Japan is saying. I don't care what the kimono society are saying. I'm going to stick to Kim. Do we believe she would have these opportunities to be, the partner brand of Team USA for the Olympics? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Then you have partnerships with, Skims and Nike and so on and so forth. So many good opportunities have been brought to her just because she decided to change the name. And I think it's quite scary that, you know, brands such as Snow Bunny from Dami Hope are not thinking about the potential opportunity cost that comes from having a name that can be associated with something quite negative within certain communities. Now, is it big enough that it could affect him? At this point, it's here, it's give or take. And I think initially, even when I, heard that he was going to launch a fashion brand, I did think he was going to feature more of his alternative style, not necessarily be the sweatsuit thing. And I also, found some opinions online, whether it be through TikTok or like Reddit or other threads online, kind of stating the same thing, kind of was expecting a bit more, more, I don't know, just something different. And not to say that the tracksuits aren't of a different style. They definitely are. But I don't think I was expecting tracksuits from him, to be honest. But either way, when he did go into explaining what the snow bunny means, he also stated that the bunny's ability to hop from one idea to another is something that he hopes to embody with this brand and have designs that might reflect one thing and then reflect something else and just have that range available to him to just truly play in his creativity. And honestly, I love that for him. And I'm really excited. Like I said, I am a fan of his personal brand and I like his style. So I also hope that he is able to have this longevity with the brand. I think maybe more men might be averse to wearing his brand because even if you are like going off of the description of Snow Bunny that I know, even if you are a self-proclaimed Snow Bunny, as a man, you don't want that attention when you're going out like a t-shirt says Snow Bunny and then people are giving you a weird look like, oh, like why are you wearing that? And you might also not be, but then the clothing you're wearing says it. And at the end of the day, like there's power in a name, okay? And now I'm put this name on myself that I don't want to have, those associated images or associated meanings attached to myself, but people are going to think them regardless because that's the power of a name. And I think we're seeing this play out. I believe, his fan base is probably had a lot of men, to be honest, because there aren't many male influencers in comparison to women, first of all. Secondly, there aren't many male fashion influencers in comparison to women. Thirdly, there aren't many black male fashion influencers in comparison to women. So I believe, how many followers does he have again? Let me double check for you, just real quick. Okay, I checked my stats, and on Instagram alone, he has 750,000 followers. Okay, like this not be small pikin. This let's not be small guy. Like he is a big deal. 751K followers to be exact. And yeah, like I said, I'm sure a lot of them were men. And I do feel like he alienated his male customers who probably just don't want, who are also like him, just don't want the drama of having to walk down the street and then someone seeing you wear something that says Snow Bunny, or it's just, it's just not a good look, y'all. It's just not a good look. Um, Also, when it comes to the rollout, and as we see here, there's some of the images from the initial launch. He decided to go down the whole route of like, like this is like a drug deal that's going down. And again, I was just like, quite generic branding for a streetwear style launch. And if you don't particularly fit that lifestyle, I don't know why you would do that. Yeah, just very generic. Yeah, I didn't really like that per se, but like I said, I like the designs. I think if you are a personality, then you should capitalize off of the personal brand you built and actually pick branding that coincides with you and your values. And another thing, in the initial video when he's done the breakdown of what Snow Bunny actually means, it's all anime incorporated, as he said that idea came from. Why are we not seeing that in the launch photos? I don't know. Maybe it's the bunny hopping around, but it was just a bit of confusion. Nonetheless, he has been able to, stake out some claim. He's getting some sold out collections. I don't know what the capacity is, but they are getting sold out. I believe the future is looking very female right now for Snow Bunny, just because as a woman, there's less of a negative perception and connotation that comes from the term Snow Bunny, because there are other meanings outside of what it means to the black community in London and America, and maybe elsewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Snow Bunny can mean an attractive woman who frequently skis on the slopes. It can mean, what else can it mean? Sorry, a young woman who likes skiing, but she's kind of inexperienced. That's why she's a Snow Bunny. Or then it has the more negative perception where it's a black man who only dates white women. And so, yeah, I'd say because there are some positives assigned to the Snow Bunny when it comes to just a woman who likes to ski, but she's not an expert, or an attractive woman who likes to ski, we are seeing more women that are wearing the clothing, and that might not have been his original idea for the brand, but customer avatars can change. And if that's the case, I guess ride the wave, honestly. So I would say the future looks like, having more female designs, more female influencers. His girlfriend India eats when she wears the clothing, honestly. And I would also say really play up on the fact that you want to have a adventurous brand. And even if you are, I'm saying this as if Dami's like I'm in a meeting with you right now. Even if you are a fashion brand, I would definitely say look at other adventurous brands and see how they made their mark. So when I say adventurous, I mean brands that emphasize the whole, risk taking side of life and, enjoying life. So brands like Red Bull, definitely look at their marketing and see how you can scale it back down to your budget, whatever that is, because I understand that starting a brand and fashion brand is not cheap. So if you've got this Snow Bunny brand, let's say maybe you could do a giveaway and you take one or two people from the giveaway, give them a voucher to a ski center somewhere in the UK. Like, it's pretty inexpensive, to be honest. I believe there's one in Hemel Hempstead. There's another one somewhere else, but these indoor ski centers, something like that, gifting people the chance to, hit the slopes where they're from. I don't know if they have one in Manchester, but doing something like that would be pretty cool. And also outside of the whole ski thing, because I'm sure like not everything has a ski look. There are t-shirts, there are, I don't know if he does jeans, but there's definitely t-shirts in the line, which I did like as well. You could do, when it comes to experiential and guerrilla marketing for your other collections that might not necessarily be the whole ski tracksuits, then you could sponsor a sports day. You know, just really looking at what Red Bull does and how they sponsor like sports events and finding a way to fit that into your own budget is a way to make the idea of Snow Bunny cement in your customer avatar profile. There is also, of course, the option of changing your name. And even though you've doubled down, you can kind of do what Mulatto has. She used to go by Mulatto, now she just goes by Lotto. And again, opportunity cost. I mean, some brands don't care, but now she's working with Uber Eats. Does somebody say just I cannot sing, but I like to sing anyways. You know, Lara has gone big, and I'm sure some of it is because she changed her name. She didn't double down. So yeah, going from Snow Bunny to Snow is another option, and also sorry, bringing it back to the whole experiential aspect. This pink collection was, I think it's really been a hit with the girls. So doing maybe like themed sleepovers or I don't know how you would. I don't know how exactly you do it because I'm like literally just talking off the top of my head at the moment. But yeah, when they do like those indoor sleepovers at London venues or venues elsewhere, because you don't have to just stick to London, especially if you've gotten controversy within the London community, you can do it elsewhere. So yeah, something like a theme sleepover would be really cute. I saw Kumbi did an Easter egg hunt with the whole snow bunny thing. Something like that would also be great for your brand. So yeah, I would definitely say do more experiential and guerrilla marketing. Like I said, look at brands like Red Bull, look at their playbook, study them, see if you can copy any of the ideas because no idea is original. Everything is freely given and you can freely take and make it your own, okay? And then finally, I would say another brand to look at is this might not make sense, but in my head it definitely makes sense. Super Mario, because it has that whole gamified and the Mario Brothers. It has the whole gamified aspect and it's widely popular. And so if you want to make a brand that is widely popular, it just helps to study these brands and see what it is about them that really made them stick. From my research, it was the key and iconic character design, it was the sound, and it was the progressive when it comes to Mario Brother games. It was the progressive difficulty of the games. As you can tell, I've never played it. I am not a video game person. And then yeah, just the relatability of the Mario Brothers. So if you just take those aspects and you incorporate it into your marketing, then you really have a winner on your hand. So yeah, I want to see this do well. But if you aren't Dami and maybe you have, I wouldn't say, maybe either you have a brand or you don't have a brand yet, but you're like him in the sense that you don't want to be pigeonholed down to just one idea. You want to create a brand that allows you to explore your creativity, but you're not sure how to make that into a concrete plan for marketing, then feel free to hit the links down below. I love making videos like this, whether it be about personal brands or business brands. And I'm also on a podcast that you can listen to when if you want to know more about fashion brands. And yeah, just to summarize the key points, I would say, you know, you were online on our screens with Love Island. You can't escape the mental image that we have, and whether it be fortunate or unfortunate, you have a very chill persona. And so deciding to use controversy to sell out your clothing, it was a bit of a mismatch. So I think that's why you had the controversy to begin with. I mean, people love to make an uproar, but they definitely made more of an uproar because it's like it just doesn't seem like it fit you. In addition to that, I would say, yeah, this might be the third point, but just don't just focus on virality. And I think when you're, especially if you're an influencer who potentially makes a living off of being viral, and even on his TikTok, one of his playlists is viral bad boy, when it comes to building a brand, it's not just virality, it's also about longevity. And finally, I would say maybe you had an initial customer avatar in mind. Maybe you were hoping that more men would buy your brand. I'm not sure, this is all just hearsay and just thoughts. Or maybe you thought that more people that are into alternative style would, buy from you. But actually, the sweatsuits are really, you're just killing it there. Don't be afraid to change your customer avatar. Go where the money resides, okay? So yeah, this has been my video on the 7 deadly sins of branding. Raf, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Any key points you picked up from this video, and let me know what else you'd like to see from me. Bye.